Welcome to Pontification Nation. I'm your host, Ricky Skittle, coming to you as always live from my mother's basement. We're going to do a follow-up on This Week in Spicious from last week. We're going to talk a little bit about Jussie Smollett, the actor who was allegedly assaulted by Trump supporters in Chicago last week. And I'm going to get right into it. We still don't know everything, but we do have some facts that we can talk about the facts. And I found something on the internet that I thought was interesting and that I want to show you. So, the facts. Jussie Smollett does not like Donald Trump. It was a low of -9 degrees in Chicago. Bleach, which is the alleged substance that was poured on him, has a freezing point of 18 degrees. Police have and are reconstructing his entire walk, and right now they are focusing on 60 seconds where he was seen without the noose on his neck, and then 60 seconds later he was seen with the noose on his neck. So the attack probably happened within that 60 seconds, and they're focusing on identifying that. They have gotten him walking to the subway and walking back to his apartment with the noose around his neck. And also the surveillance cameras watching him walk into the building that he lives in there in Streeterville. When he came out of the alley, he had his noose and his sandwich. Police have identified the type of rope, who sells it, and are seeking out surveillance cameras from the stores in Chicago who sell that rope. Jussie would not share his phone with police, but he is willing to give the phone records. He also asked for the police body cameras to be turned off so there was no recording of his interview. And the interview occurred in a friend's apartment, not his own. And on Saturday he had a show, and he made a couple statements during the show. He had 4 points he wanted to discuss. So here are his 4 points. There's been a lot of stuff said about me that's absolutely not true. He then paused to glance at the balcony and add, I'm sure my lawyer is sitting up there like, no, Jussie, no, shut the F up and sing. Consulting his notes, he moved on to 4 points that he said he wanted to make. I was bruised, but my ribs were not cracked. They were not broken. I went to the doctor immediately. I was not hospitalized. Both my doctors in LA and Chicago cleared me to perform, but said to take care, obviously. And above all, I fought the F back. Okay? Now, here's a little blurb at the end here from Kyle Schaefer at National Review. So Smollet underwent a vicious beating by two attackers that apparently lasted less than 60 seconds, since that is the reported gap in surveillance footage between an image of him without a rope around his neck and an image of him with the rope. Smollet now says he fought back, but apparently he lost neither his Subway sandwich nor his cell phone in this brawl. Also, he didn't immediately call the police on that phone to describe the suspects and inform the police which way they had gone when they suddenly ran away from him, but instead waited about 40 minutes to inform the police. Also, Smollett, for some reason, thinks his lawyers are eager for him not to publicly discuss the case. Curious. I would say suspicious. Now, at the show, everybody is innocent until proven guilty. So we do not want to throw shade on Jussie. If this truly happened to him, it is just an abomination, and these things should not happen, and it gives people who like Donald Trump a bad name. Now I want to talk a little bit about, just in general. I'm not a fighter. I don't fight people. But I will defend myself, and I do know how to fight. If I were defending myself from people who were putting something around my neck, throwing a substance on me, and there were two of them and one of me, I would certainly not try to do that with my hands full. It is very difficult to punch someone and make them feel it with things in your hands, unless you have like bolts in your hands, but a phone and a sandwich, I don't think so. And frankly, if this happened to me, I would probably be trying to remove myself from the situation as quickly as possible. And I would probably not be too concerned about the sandwich. So that's just my perspective, my pontification about it. The other thing I found that I thought was interesting, and I'm going to leave this, I would recommend everybody watch this entire video for the interest of time. I just want to make this a short video, but for the interest of time, I'm not going to show the whole thing. But I do want you to see this part at 57 seconds of this video.
People who got that popular vote. Was the whole thing just a joke? Was that whole thing just one big joke?
Okay, so that is Jussie Smollett's FUW, which stands for Effed Up World. This article was written in March of 2017. So Jussie Smollett, FUW, is a blistering anti-Trump anthem of rage and resistance. Watch. In the video, he has this mask. In the video, it gets run over by someone in a wheelchair. And here's the Billboard reporting. The black and white video features men and women. It should be women. It says woman of various ethnicities and highlights injustices from human and LGBT rights to religious and racial prejudices. A woman wears a hijab in one scene. A boy wears a hoodie in another. And 4 women put their fists up as they stand in front of words, "My body, my rights." The song is for the oppressed. That's why I feel like people will connect with it, because it is very broad, because oppression is so broad, he said in an interview Tuesday with the Associated Press. This is pretty terrible writing, by the way, for Billboard. In another scene, a man in a wheelchair runs over a Donald Trump mask. This is what Jussie has to say about that. That mask is a representation of this false idea of patriotism. And that mask is a representation of this idea of white male privilege, the 34-year-old Smollet said. It is so much bigger than him. It is what he represents. It is because of that representation. That's why he's the president of the United States currently. It's our opportunity to take those masks off and shatter them. So that's what I did, he added. Now, that imagery of the noose swinging behind the gentleman in the video is very, very striking, considering this was made 2 years ago. Now, if I were an anti-Trump resistance person and I had a high profile and I had already written the story, it might be easy for me to make this up and do this. Now, again, I don't know anything about this guy. I had never heard his name before last week. So who really knows? But here's what I do know. The Chicago police are on record saying that at this point they believe he is a victim and there's no reason for them to believe he is not lying. But if they find that he did not tell the truth, they will hold him accountable. So they're on record saying that. For you guys to follow along with this, if you're interested, I'm interested in it. I think it's fascinating to watch these types of things happen over and over and over again and continually turn out not the way that they seemed. But in any case, if you want to follow this guy, Rafer Weigel, he's a ABC news anchor. He's got a lot of stuff on this on Twitter, and he's obviously, he's in Chicago. I forgot to mention that. So he's got a lot of inside, information, and he's talking to the police on a regular basis and updating everyone on, the case as it goes along. And he has also sounded skeptical. Joe Biden tweeted something out, and he tweeted back at Joe Biden and said, I would recommend that you wait for all the information to come before you start making accusations about anything. So I believe that he is, a leftist journalist. But I actually think what he's doing is actual real journalism. So it's good to follow, good to read. So right now it does not look good for Jussie at this point. It looks like they're kind of closing in on all of the facts surrounding this. And, again, if this turns out to be that he was assaulted, I will most certainly say that the people who assaulted him should be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. But if it turns out, like right now it's looking like it might turn out that this did not occur the way that he said and that we do not have the whole truth, he should be held accountable. Thanks for watching today. I will have a few more videos out. I just wanted to touch on this since I did discuss it last week and there's more information. If you haven't yet, come to the landing page, hit the big red subscribe button, click the bell for notifications so that you will be notified anytime we post new content. Thanks again. This is for Pontification Nation. This is Ricky Skittle, and I'm out.